And good morning. We're just doing a quick technical check, make sure we got audio when my stream over here catches up. Yep, we've got audio. Perfect. Okay. So today, I'm gonna try to get through as much as I can. Probably gonna cut it a little bit short today because I feel like if I can get done what I want to get done, I'm gonna reward myself, and I may very well finally go to the movies. I haven't been in a while, and I kind of want to see the new Spider-Man movie. So we'll see where we can get to. First thing I want to do is I've been kicking the can down the road for way too long of range. So let's get the range calculation in there. I think I found a fairly easy way to do it. We'll put in the range calculation into the actor script, and then we can just rip out a whole bunch of other stuff and call back to the range checking in the actor script. So that should be fairly easy, straightforward. It'll take us a little bit, but then once we're done that, we're going to move back into the town scene, and we're going to build. The goal today is the shop. Probably not going to get to the equip today, but probably get the shop done so that we can at least take the what we have right now, 4 items, and get them up here, get them so we can buy. And then I've got a couple other decisions I need to make about how we're going to do inventory again. I think my idea is I'm going to keep going after the what was that game called? That Tales from Candlekeep. So each player is going to have it's going to have the weapon and the accessory slot, and then I'll probably give them like maybe 4 consumable slots. So then you can populate it. The thing I don't like this, but what I need to do to make sure that we can fit within our plan, our budget of hours, is I'm going to make it so those equipables, the belt slot, pouch slot, whatever you want to call that, is only going to be able to be defined while in town and not on pickup while you go through the world. So when you grab all the items through the world, we're just going to dump them into a temporary buffer. So like when the boss drops something and stuff like that, we'll just drop them into basically like a party loot or bag of holding or something along those lines. And then when we get back to town, we'll just dump that bag into the Adventurers Guild inventory. That's what I'm going to call the shared inventory for everything. And then you can go through and equip stuff that way. So then we don't have to worry about doing inventory management while we're adventuring, or at least, adding and equipping and all that stuff. That I think is I'm going to have in the game. But again, our goal right now is early access playtest to get stuff going. So that for the time being is going to get punted down the road. We'll implement it, just not this time. Same with saving and loading. We've got pretty much everything in place for it. We just actually have to build it. But in the planning of time and stuff like that, I'm going to kick the save and load to the next milestone so that we can focus on getting a gameplay loop that we can test with playtesting. I think that covers just about everything I want to do today. I feel like there was probably something else I promised yesterday that we're going to do today, but I'm drawing a blank on it. But let me see. We're going to do. I think that's it for right now. The shop so we can buy equipment and stuff like that. We're going to do the range, which I did not plan on doing yesterday, but we need that. The more I thought about some items like alchemist fire and stuff like that, we need to know how far we can throw it. Are we using, can we use a potion of healing on a neighboring ally, or maybe it's a splash healing potion or something. I don't know. So we're going to need that range checking, especially with our abilities like the wizard. We already have him getting a +1 range on one of his wands. So we've got to make sure we have that stuff in there. So we're going to start out today. We're going to build that, and then we're going to do the shop. Is going to be the next focus. I think that should catch us up on everything. We'll just get right into it here. Let's see what we can get done. Okay, so let's see here. Let's switch over to. I'm sure I've got something that I have not opened up yet today, but we'll get to it. Oh, one other thing is I still need to build the tiles before we get to playtest. Right now we get some real basic ones, but we don't have like enemies and stuff. I'm gonna, for the start of it, I'm just gonna use, this is the tiles from Temple of Elemental Evil D&D board game, and so it's got 45 tiles. They've all, basically matched the same style that we've already done, but we've got some that, these white ones don't have an encounter associated with them. The red X's are traps, and the dragon heads are monsters. So, like here, we've got two monsters that spawn on this one. This one, we've got two monsters that spawn. This one has four traps, but no monster spawns. A lot of these things, like the symbol, earth, and stuff, are very relevant to that particular board game. Each one of the series has their own unique stuff. Same with the labels. Those tiles are just reused for particular scenarios. We've kind of got that built into our tile set where we have the drop down of I forget what we called it now, special something or other. Forget I forget what we called it now. But there was a drop down. I didn't open Godot yet. What did we call that in the tile editor? There we go. This is the encounter table. It's special elements. There we go. So then we can add, special elements to a particular tile. The nice part about with a digital game is we can just create a new resource for that unique tile that we need to have, and then we can just put it in if we need it. So like after early access, when we start adding things like, unique scenarios and quests and stuff like that, we can just throw in like different end tiles or something along those lines, kind of like we're doing with the entrance tile. So we can just throw those in there, build them out as we need for those scenarios and going forward. It's not going to be in the first play test. It probably won't even be in early access, but we did build this editor with that stuff in mind so that we could create and save that. But yeah, I mean, so that's basically what I'm just going to do is I'm going to populate out 45-ish tiles. They're all going to be weighted the same, for at least for start, and then I can tweak them as needed. So I think this should give us a good balance of monsters. Like this one's got 3, this one's got 1, but I think that should give us a good starting place to go. So today we're at 58 hours. When we get done this, we should be right about exactly on 60 if I get done at noon. And hopefully we'll be very close. We have 5 more hours is what I'm crossing my fingers. About hour 65, 64 to 66, somewhere in there. I'm going to just say 65, nice even middle number. We're going to get the playtest up on itch so people can start playing it and give feedback, and then we can start populating out our Kanban board with all the feedback that we're getting, so then we can start dealing with stuff. The other thing I do want to, whoops, I closed my chat window here on my big screen. There we go. I want to make sure I can see chat. Now I totally, the one thing I do want to say is the commitment to build, no code goes into the game unless it's done on stream, is probably the biggest Achilles heel of this entire project, because I want to work through and build this stuff and figure it out. I've done a couple things on my other laptop to research and go, okay, we need to figure out how to do this, like I did with the range. I did that yesterday after stream, figure out how I could implement range, and I went, oh, this is actually going to be a little bit easier than I initially thought it was going to be. But being able to only code while on stream is probably the biggest hindrance. So once we hit the 100 hour mark, once we complete the outline, it's probably going to be more than 100 hours, 110-ish probably by the time we're done. But once we hit that milestone, I'm going to continue to stream as the plan, but I'm probably going to keep building off stream and then keep building while on stream. So there's going to be stuff that's going to happen in between, but I still want to hit that first milestone. The promise I had from the trailer from episode 1 is we're going to deliver something to Steam that is a playable vertical slice demo, early access, whatever we want to call it, on stream. And then from there, once I start building it, further and further, this is going to be 100% a passion project. If it sells 1 copy, if it sells 10 copies, hey, cool. but this is going to be 100% passion / learning project so that I can figure out how to market a game, how to get stuff on Steam, figure out how to work with Steam, especially with the APIs and stuff like that. That's going to be a challenge. I don't think I allocated enough time in this, but that's all the reason behind this was learning experience and fun because I like this style of game. So with that said, let's go ahead and let's get our range checking started here. So we're going to start working on that. Jump over into here. I'm going to just close this out for right now. We don't need that. I don't know if we'll need the game board. We probably won't need these guys. Town we will need later. We got monsters in entrance tile 2, so that should be good there. Okay. Okay, one more sip of coffee, and then I think we'll be ready to dive in here. Okay. So there's a lot of stuff, and I saw a video. Oh God, I really wish I could attribute to the right YouTube user right now. I can't think of his name, but he was talking about optimizing his game. He's trying to do like a Diablo that has like 6,000 enemies coming at you at once. This huge horde mode, and it's talking about how when you're trying to figure out the distance to something, you use your the hypotenuse was like quadratic equation. I don't remember the a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So if you want to figure out the distance, the hypotenuse, you got square the two and take the square root, and about how intense that is for a mathematical computation on a computer to figure out square root. But he's like, oh, we can just do it easier than that. We can just do, okay, we take the x and the y, we square each of those, add them together, and then you take your range and square that. And if those two added together are less than the range squared, they're within range. So you don't have to do the super advanced math calculation of figuring out the square root to say, hey, does it match range 2? Well, 2 squared is 4. So as long as x and y are both, added together squared or less than 4, they're within range. So I was like, that's actually pretty genius. You don't need to go through all that computational stuff. So that's the formula I'm going to be using to calculate range in this. For melee, though, I'm going to say any of the 8 squares surrounding you are, within 1. I forget what there's a term for that where you include the diagonals. It's not Manhattan. I don't think it's the other one. I can't remember now what it is. But so basically, the first thing we want to do is we need to add some helper functions into our actor. So I'm going to come down here. We're going to just start, and we're going to add in some extra helper functions here. I'm going to add a couple extra lines so that we can see this on screen better. Oh, excuse me. So just some basic functions, and we're going to say, is in melee range, okay? And then we need to take in a target, and that's going to be an actor. And then we also need to take in, no, wait, do we need the actor? No, we just need the cell, right? Melee, yeah, because we're just checking the cell, see if the cell's in range. So if we take the cell, that's a vector 2i. Oops, that's supposed to be a colon. Cell vector 2i, and then this is going to be a Boolean because we need to, say yes or, true or false. Is it in range? Yes, true. If it's not, then we return false. So here's where we're going to just look at the real quick formula here. We're going to do distance x is going to equal the absolute, because remember, if we're doing negative, we just might as well just switch it to positive because it's going to make our life a lot easier. Current cell minus current cell.x, right? Because we're doing x minus the, I should rename this, not cell. This should be called target cell, just to keep ourselves clear on what we're doing. Minus target cell.x, okay? And then we're going to do the, whoopsies, we're going to do the same thing for the y. So distance y. Okay, and then we're going to do that. Excuse me, and then we can just do a quick return, and we can say dx less than or equal to 1 and dy less than or equal to 1. So this is going to be, again, for our diagonals. So as long as they're both, up is 1, right is 1, and then up and right is 1 over x, 1 up y, or technically up would be negative y. But either way, you get my point. It's just 1. But again, we're taking the absolute, so we don't care if it's negative or positive. We're just looking for the change in difference. So then that will tell us, yes, if they're adjacent square, they're within melee range. Okay. So next, what we want to do is we want to check. That's is cell. Oh wait, this is the cell. Is cell in melee range? There we go. And then we want to do a function. This is going to be called is in melee range. And this is going to be taking the actual target itself. Target dot is actor. Technically, we could kind of do this all in one. There's some places where I may want to use like an ability or something like that, and we're just going to look for if the cell's in melee range, not if a target is. So I'm going to keep those two separate just in case we might need that for things like alchemist fire. If we want to throw that, we want to make sure that, or something, I don't know what would be melee, but you kind of get the idea of sometimes we want the cell to be checked, not the target actor, but we can reuse this when we target the actor. So we look at is in melee range, and then we can say if not target, return false. Return false. Oops, T-A-R-G-E-T. Okay. And then, if there is a target, then what we need to do, we can just do return is cell in melee range, and then we can do target dot current cell. Okay. So then that way we can check to make sure first that, if it's something that requires a target, an actor target, we can check it first, make sure we have a valid actor, and then we can then check the actor's current cell and make sure they're within range. Something else I want to do, I don't think it's going to be in the early playtest. I do want to support creatures that are like 4x4, 2x1, bigger cells, because I think that's a lot more fun when you have larger size things, especially when you're only using 8x8 pixels right now. So this, I may have to rework this a little bit when we add that up, but that should still, hopefully, in theory, work. Because in those, my idea is when I get to them, is they're going to physically, their current cell is going to probably change, and it's going to be an array, and their current cell will have 4 cells in it, so then we can track the actual cells. Okay, so now we just need to do basically the exact same thing, but slightly differently. So I'm just going to copy these here. We're going to put these down here. So we're going to start with is cell in range. Ranged attack. We'll just call it ranged range for now. I don't like the naming of it, but I mean, we've been calling it a ranged attack, so it just makes sense. And then, so what we need to do in here, we have the target cell, but we also need to know what the max range is, and that's an integer. Okay. And then, so what we need to do is down here is we just need to change this, and we need to use that formula I was just talking about. So let's take this out here. So we're going to return dx times dx, so dx squared. Okay. And then we're going to add in dy times dy. Okay. And that needs to be less than or equal to max range. Oops. Max range times max range. I wonder if there's an easier way to just do exponentially math in Godot, like if I did caret 2 or something like that, if it does a square. I'm not sure. I haven't actually looked into it because I don't do a whole lot of exponent math. But maybe there is, maybe there's not. But do we? Okay, I'm just going to do this for my own, just my own logic, just to make sure, squares plus the square plus this, so we keep everything together. Okay, so now is in range. Okay, and then so same thing here. We need to pass in also the max range, and that was an integer. Okay, and then here we get to call is cell in ranged. Range. There we go. And that should be, did I misspell it? In ranged range. Oh, I need to pass in the max range. There we go. Okay. So again, that will return a true or false if it's in the right range or not. And then let's do one more function. Just is in attack range. Okay, and then this will just kind of be our global one. So we'll call a target here. We will then say, what's the attack range? Attack range. Okay, and then we're going to make this int equals 1, just because by default it'll be like melee attacks. And then we can say is ranged. We're going to make that a Boolean, and then we'll equal false. So basically what this is going to do is it's going to default, and we can just call it is in attack range and send the target, and that's going to assume it's within range 1 and it's a melee attack, not a ranged attack. So okay, and then so what we need to do here is then we just need to figure out which function we need to call. So if not target, I want to keep my same notation. I like the logic. If not, I like the notation of exclamation. It's not best case, or what do they call it? The formatting. I forget what the term is now for it, but it's not the Godot's. This is style guide. It doesn't match the Godot's official style guide. They say you should use the word not instead of exclamation point, but whatever. It's come back to bite me a few times, but I like the exclamation point. So if there's not a target, we're just going to return false. So, okay. And then if there is a target, then what we need to do, we need to say if is ranged, then what we need to do is we need to call the, oh, you know what we can do? Because we do have some melee weapons that might get longer. So let's do if is ranged or attack range is greater than 1. There we go. Then we can call is, return is in ranged. Is in ranged range? Yeah, there we go. Range. And then we need to send the target. And then we need to send in the max range, attack range. Right? Is in range, target, max range, target. Yeah. Why is that? If in attack range. Oh. If is ranged or okay. And then if nothing else, then we can just do return what's our other one called? Is in melee range, and then we just need to send in the target. There we go. Okay. So that's all of our helper functions in this. So then we have our is in attack range, which is our global one, and then it'll break it down to is it in ranged, and we'll double check, make sure it is a valid actor, and then we can check the distance and whether or not they're within 1 for melee, or if they're within a larger range, which could be a melee of 2 or something like that. So I think that's all we need for the helper functions in this. because these are all going to return true. Okay. So the next place we want to do is we probably want to go over to our game board, because this is where we start calling things. So if we look for our attack, actor attack, here we go. Check that. That's fine. Select the target. Current actors in the group players. Targeting machine transition into the targeting machine, and then we'll also update the targeting machine to then check range as well. So we've got that. Okay, so then if it's in monsters, we get all the possible players. After we enable this, allows us to target anybody or any of the players, right? Else if is in-group monsters. Let me read through my logic one more time. Okay, so this is the actor attack. If actors in group players transition to the targeting machine. Okay, and then if this is a monster, target all the players. Okay, perfect. So then what we want to do here is, this is where we want to call it now. So if we say if current actor dot is in melee range, current actor is in melee range of the actor. Okay. Then we can call all this. What did I do wrong? Is in melee range. Should we call the or should we call that global attack instead? Let me think about this. So we have is in attack range. We'll just keep it this way, because this right now has been functioning as our melee attack. So we'll just keep it like this. Okay. So if the current actor is in melee range, aka the monster standing next to one of the players, then we can actually call this and attack properly. So that's got using our check that's now built into the base class actor, base actor class, however you want to say that. Actor.gd. So it's going to use the melee check in here. So we also need to go and check in our ability targeting here. So let's see, function ability target, and if is, we don't need any of this anymore. We can get rid of all that. Okay. So let's see here. So if we're in players, we go into, does this not call the targeting machine? It does not. Okay. Actor target mode right here. Here we go. So do we want to change else? I'm just looking at my notes from yesterday here. So we got rid of all those. We want to, okay. So let's change the monster first, so we can do like the same thing that we did up here. So right here, all this, we're going to indent that by 1. Bring this down. We're going to add in our new if statements here. If current actor dot is in melee or ranged range, we're going to send in the target, and then we need to send in the range of the attack. Right? Do we have the range attack defined? Because the ability, oops, helps if I spell target right. Target cell. Oh, this should be target cell, I think. Okay. So we want to do is, because this is a target cell. Let's do is cell in ranged, and then we can just send in the target cell. Okay, that should be what we need here. Oh, whoops. Is cell in, wait, what did we call that again? Is cell in ranged range. Yeah, why did that not, oh, because we're still in players. So this, we also need to send the ability dot, ABILITY dot range. There we go. There we go. That's what we needed. Okay, so now we can check if the cell is within the abilities range, and then we can just execute the code we had before. Okay, that should be fine. In the players, let's see, did I make a note in the players? I thought I did, but I'm trying to find it. If actor is in, so target allies. So this is going to be the same exact thing. So we're going to just reuse this again, because we're checking the ally, making sure that they're within range, but this is targeting players instead of monsters, but it's the same exact function call. So if the cell's within range of the ability, then everything is good there. Okay, so that takes care of the ability targeting. Let's see, do we have another, get all actors in range? Oh, this is calculation for AoE, so we don't want to touch that. Target selected. This is when we actually target something. Target selected of the ability. Okay. So, do we have something in here? Target the machine, transition to idle. If current actors in here, action panel, we hide. We await the attack. Okay, so this is our melee attack. I don't think there's anything we have to do here. I think we're good. Hold on. Just double check my notes. What I have here. Oh, right. Because we did the bonus range for the wizard's attack. We want to calculate that bonus range if it's allowed in the basic attack. Okay. So we already have it. If they're in players, then we hide the panel, but now we need to check for bonus range, and that's going to equal to 0 by default, and then we're going to check to see if the current actor dot what do we call it, equipped weapon. There we go. Equipped. We should probably do this for equipped weapon and for accessory, but let's just start with weapon for right now. So if it has an equipped weapon and the current actor dot equipped weapon dot has and bonus bonus range. Okay, and then we can say bonus range plus equals this plus equals weapon bonus range. Oops, got an extra square bracket there. Okay, so that should then calculate that into here, and then we need to add in the bonus range. So if we do this, then we can just do a var attack range plus equals bonus range. What do we want to do? How do I want to do that? I don't know if I want to use a new variable. Because this is all going to assume 1 to start with. So if we assume 1 to start with, and then we add in some more. Let me think. So if we assume a base of 1. So here we're doing plus minus. Well, that's called bonus range. I don't want to do. Well, that could be 0. Yeah, so let's do a var attack range equals 1 plus the bonus range. So then if there isn't a bonus range, then it's just 1 plus 0. If there is a bonus range, then it becomes 1 plus whatever. And then what we need to do from there is we need to check the new range. So if we do if current actor dot is in attack range, we're going to send in the target, which is the actor, in this case, actor. And then we need to send in the attack range that we just calculated, and then is ranged attack. I believe this one's going to be, I think that's all we need to send. Because we had that logic that we put in saying if the range is greater than 1, then we're going to calculate using the ranged formula versus the what's it called, the directly adjacent formula. So yeah, oops, colon. Okay. Do we need to do this? Is a fail. So when we kick out, we're going to do kind of like this. So let's do the same thing. Let's do a print error not in range. Okay. And then we can just do a return. Yeah, that should be fine. Because here, oh, this is after the combat manager. So we should probably do this. Did we subtract the AP? No, because that's after. Okay, so let's do not in range. Let's put this back to true. Okay, so then we can see our action panel again. Okay, so that works fine. So that just double checks that we're with range. I don't think we need anything else there. I think that that should be good. So let's see. Did we give... let's look at our wizard. Wizard. So wizard, we gave him the... where's this equipped? Apprentice wand. Here we go. We gave it a bonus range of 1. So right now, if we run this, our wizard should have... I don't know. Let's move... we'll just end turn. That's fine. Just end turn. Okay. End turn. Just trying to get to the wizard. End turn. Okay. So now, in theory, my first attack, I should be able to attack this guy because he should be within range. Okay. So we... Current actor, the equipped weapon, and current actor, the equipped weapon has bonus range. So non-existent function call dot has. Okay. Dictionary. Isn't that how you do it? Dot has, if you're checking a dictionary. Oh, wait, this isn't a dictionary. This is a... equipped weapon dot item data. Item? What do we call it? Is it item? Item data? Let's look at our... item. Stat modifier. No, let's go back to our actor. So let's see here. We have equipped weapon is item data. Okay. So the equipped weapon is a... Oh, right. Because in item data, we have stat modifier. That's what we're looking for. So this should be equipped weapon dot stats modifier has bonus range. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, now attack. Okay, invalid access to bonus range on base object of resource item data. Okay, so we got past this part, but this reference is wrong because I need stats modifier. Got to change both of those lines. Whoops. Okay. One last try. Let's see if we can get this working. Okay, so attack. We should be able to attack this guy. Oh, I got to hit attack first. There we go. Not in range. Why is this calculating as not in range? Okay, so we did something wrong here. Actor attack range. Well, let's print attack range. ATK. Okay. Let's just make sure that this is calculating properly. You know what? I could probably do it with anybody. I'm focused on the wizard right now, but let's try anybody. Sure, here we go. Rogue, attack. Not in range. So, range of 1. Why is that not calculating properly? Is in attack range. Okay, so let's go back up to actor. Is in attack range. So we send in a target in the attack range. If is ranged or attack range is greater than 1, we do this. It's not greater than 1, I don't believe. Because we're not... Yeah, so that should be up here. Is in melee. Is in melee. If there's not a target, return false. Is cell target.current cell. And then we take our current cell.x minus this. Return. So let's see what this is calculating as. So let's do a print. Just do a print dx and a print dy. Okay. So let's try that. Let's just try a basic attack. So if I attack here and here, 1 and 2. So that's giving me, which is correct because it's 1 over but 2 down. Okay. But why did it actually allow me to attack then? That should have returned false. That should have returned 3. 1, 2, 3. It did return 3. Okay. Yeah, 1 and 3. Okay. So it did that, but it didn't return false. So if dx is less than or equal to 1, dy is less than or equal to 1. It's not. It was 3. So why'd that return? Why is that returning false? You know what? Let's change our print here. Let's see what this is calculating it out to be. Okay, so if I attack here, this is clearly out of range. Oops, I gotta hit attack. There we go. It's returning false. Okay. You know that? I bet you it's one of those exclamation marks. I probably did one of those wrong. Okay, so we go back here. Let's go back to... So this returns false to this. Is in melee range. Game board. Target selected. If this is within range, say it's not within range. If not. Not. Okay. Okay, so attack. The adjacent guy should be within range. Yes. True. Okay. And then if I try to attack this guy, he's out of range. Not in range. Okay, perfect. Yep, see? That's why you should probably use the word not instead of exclamation points. Learn from my mistakes. Okay, so we did that. Let's, we can pull this out. Let's go back up to our... We don't need this. Take these stuff out. Don't need that. Take that stuff out. Okay. Some of these are still good for basic troubleshooting. I think it was an actor we added. Yeah, right here. Let's go ahead and take that out. Okay. So that's fine there. Let's see. So we did that. Oh, we wanted to check the wizard. Make sure the wizard can attack 2 squares away now. Okay, so we'll just end his turn. If he lives. Okay, so now if I attack, he should be able to attack this guy because he's within 1 square. Okay. And if I attack this guy, he's within 2. So that's not letting me attack him. Let's try the diagonal. Let's see if the diagonal works. The diagonal does work. Okay, let's get back to the wizard. I want to try one more thing. If the wizard lives. Okay, end turn. Then the wizard will get to go. If he lives, he should live. Okay, so now if we attack this guy. Okay, so that is calculating properly. This one did not. Oh, right, because our hypotenuse is actually still larger than 2. Or is it? No. Yeah, larger than 2. Because we're going 3 and 2. So 3 squared is 9 plus 2 squared is 4, so that's 13. And then the range is 2 squared is 4. Right? So when it calculates this, because we're going down 1, 2, oh, sorry, 2 down. So 2 squared plus 1 squared is 5. So it's calculating this as 5. So it's not within the range increase. Thinking. Do we want to leave it like that? Because then it creates kind of like a more circular area because we're calculating the actual hypotenuse. But basically, all the bonus range is doing then is giving us the 8 squares plus 4 more. It's not giving us a whole more than that. We may have to do like a fudge factor in there. Yeah, we'll come back to. Well, we'll circle around for right now, but I think that should be fine. Okay, now let's adjust. That's just a math problem. That's not a coding problem. All of the code works fine. We just have to figure out what our tolerances are for calculating the range attack. Because right now it's absolute, so maybe we want to do hypotenuse plus 1. No, maybe not plus 1, but you know what I'm trying to say here. So let's go here. We need to do our what do we want to adjust next? The targeting. Let's adjust the ability next. Do I have ability? I don't have it up. Let's bring it up. A, B, ability. Okay. So if we need to adjust the ability, this one's going to be, should be pretty easy. So right now in this is valid target. We just need to add in the range check here. So let's take this out. If not actor, actor, return false. Okay. Then what we want to do, we want to say if range is less than or equal to 1, then we can return actor dot is cell in melee range. And then we can send in the target cell. Okay. And then else we can return actor dot is cell in ranged. And then we can do the target cell. Oops, not target allies. Target cell. And then we can send in the what we just called it. Oh, we should change. Yeah, well, that's fine. We'll just call it range because that's what we call it here. This we should not be using. Yeah, because that's a kind of reserved word. Should call it ability range, but I'll have to go through and see where else we're using it. Because I want to make sure we're not referencing it somewhere else. Okay, so that should fix our make it our valid target here. So then we call is valid target. I think it's in the game board. Game board. Where we do ability targeting, ability target. We do this. Get players targeted mode enabled. Target. Where do we check is valid target? Are we not doing that right now? We probably should have been doing that. Target selected. Here we go. So target machine transition to idle. If actor is in group players. Current actor. This is the attack. Oh, this is our attack ability. No, it says ability target. Okay. Oh no, I'm in target selected. Do we have a ability target selected? Here we go. That's where I wanted to be. Is valid target. Okay. So here we are. We are calling it. If not, so if false. So we probably have to do, we were returning false before, so we may have to switch this around. If ability valid target is false, basically if saying if it's invalid and the current player is in group players, the action panel is going to be true. Okay. If turn manager use action point equals false. Okay, well, let's just try this. We probably are going to have to come back in here and tweak this. I feel like there's a... we need to do something here to make that work better because we were returning false before and it was working. So I feel like we may have to pull this out. I don't think I made any notes about this function, but let's try this. Let's make sure it works. Okay, so let's do shuriken. Okay, maybe I'm just thinking wrong. Okay, well, that's fine there. Let's see if we can do... Make sure our allied one works. So if we do like heal or something here, we'll do our thunder on this guy. Let's see if we can get to our priest and do our end turn. Okay, here we go. Priest. We can do a healing word. And this should, that's not valid. So we shouldn't be able to target him, which it won't let us. There we go. Click the barbarian. We targeted the barbarian. Okay, so that is working. I guess we don't have to flip that. That just feels like it's backwards to me, but it works. So, okay. So that is our ability. We need to then adjust the targeting machine for our AoE to make sure that we're within the AoE. Where's our targeting? We don't have it up yet. Targeting. I can't spell targeting today. Save my life. Here we go. Targeting machine. Okay, so in our targeting machine, we got we transition into state idle. This is where we stop using the targeting machine. Move targeting. We're not messing with that. I think we have to change this because this is our... we're trying to target the monster from melee. So if we do this, we need to make sure it's something that's valid. And I'm doing it here. It feels like we're doing it double duty. And that's sort of because I want to use, when we get the UI stuff going, when we switch into an attack targeting mode, I want to be able to highlight, what's valid, turn maybe the possible monsters red, change icons, things like that. So we can kind of mark it as a valid target. And then all the other stuff will be, not in that range. So we want to double check here because this is our targeting and just make sure that we're targeting the right things. So I think all we need is that one additional line right here. And then I think all this we can keep using. So then in here we can do if Actually, we need the bonus var bonus bonus range, because we might have that like the wizard's wand. So then we can just do the if. I think in here, which actor are we passing in? Is this the targeted actor, or is this the which actor is this? For actor and get tree monsters. Okay, so this is each monster. Okay, so we want to use the game board reference dot current actor. Excuse me. Equipped weapon. We didn't add in the accessory. We'll get to it. We'll add in the accessory stuff after. Equipped weapon and equipped weapon dot stats modifiers dot has. So this time we're going to remember to use the right thing. Bonus range. Okay. So if that has that, then we're going to do bonus range plus equals equipped weapon dot stats modifiers bonus range. I really got to go back through and start probably make this into an enum in the character class, so then we can just select the stuff. Okay, so we got the bonus range here. Okay, and then we can do var attack range equals 1 plus the bonus range. Okay. And what? Oh, it's indented. It doesn't like the indent. Yeah, it's fine because I'm going to do an if statement here. Now we want to do, you know what? Okay, wait. No, I did something wrong here. What did I do wrong? I see what I did wrong. We don't want to calculate that for every monster. Let's put this up here. So we calculate once, and now for each monster, we need to check if the game board current actor dot is in melee range, or is in attack range. We're going to send in the target, which in this case is the actor. And then we're going to send in the new attack range that we calculated. Oops, did double underscore there. And then this is melee, so we don't really care much about that. Okay, so that should be what we need here. So then if this should allow the targeting machine to say, like, the wizard with his extra ranged wand is within standard attack range. Okay. So that should account for that in the targeting module. And then in our ability targeting, we're going to basically have to do the same thing, I think. Yeah, we'll do the same thing in ability targeting. So let's take this. We'll copy that down. Ability targeting. Self-target, single target. We probably only need it in this. Single targeting. We can add the bonus range in here. So it can go further. We're going to do the same thing in AoE. And I guess this is going to come down to whether or not you wanted that to only be a bonus range to the standard attack or a bonus range for all the abilities. I feel like for like a wizard or something like that, it feels better to have something that says, hey, I can cast from even further away. So we do all that, and then we just need to check the range. Let's go back up here in the single target. Attack targeting. Do we want to do it that way? I don't know if I do. I think that might make things overpowered. That's a good question. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think Being able to also empower the spells to be longer, is that worth it, or is it should we restrict it just simple basic attacks? Um, because right now we have it built so it's basic attacks only. So it's only the just a standard attack. He gets an extra square so that he can stay back and doesn't have to go face to face. Yeah, I'm just gonna comment this out for right now. I'm gonna come back to this probably, but I'm gonna just leave it in here for right now. I'm gonna make that choice a little bit later, but we've got the logic in here um to then calculate a larger range. But I think that should be fine. I think there's one other place I need to do a change here, and that's where we enter the state. That's where we just did this interstate. Okay. Um, I thought I had another comment here somewhere. I guess not. Idle targeting. Oh, get nodes group. I have a note, but I don't remember what this note means. So I'm just trying to find in my code where it. Somewhere where here we go. Actor and get tree group. Get nodes in group. This is for a single target. Let me see what my notes say over here. For actor and get tree, get nodes, group equals players. Yep. Add in the ability. Current ability is valid. Oh, we're validating the target. Okay. So we're just going to add in the validate. So current ability dot is valid target. And then we need to send in the game board dot current actor. And then we need to send in, oh no, not current actor, game board dot ability. Wait, is it ability? No, current. What are we sending here? Let's look at our definition. So our is valid target, we're looking at the target and the target's, we're looking at the caster and then the cell. So we need to send in the game board, current actor, okay, and then we need to send in the target cell, which is actor dot current cell. Get nodes in group. Okay. I don't know why the hint is not working there. For actor and get tree in the group. Yeah, because these are going to be actors. We want the current game board actor. Why is this not? Oh, because we don't. Oh man. Sometimes you just stare at something and you don't understand why. Okay, so this should then make our stuff limited. So let's see. What do we have that is limited? So like our rogue, I think our shurikens. We have a range of 1. So this should prevent our shurikens from being we should probably have a range of 0 on those. But actually, those are self, aren't they? Where's the target? Nope, it's an area. Okay. So now our shurikens, if we use these, we should only be able to cast in the cells on or right around the rogue. So let's go ahead and try those. Okay. Okay, here we go. Shurikens. So if I try to cast it over here, it should fail. It did not. Why did that fail? Okay, let's try it just next to myself. So if I try to target like right there. Okay, so that works. Okay, so that this is not working properly. Oh, because I did single target. This is not. Shurikens are an AoE. So we're probably going to need to steal this again. Oh, target type area. Okay, so we need to fix the area targeting. Do we have a single an ability that's a, oh, you know what? The throw bomb. Or do we just call it bomb? What do we call it? Throw bomb. There we go. That one is a range of 6. Let's drop this down to a range of 1, just for testing purposes. Okay, because that's a single target. That will be affected by what we just did. Okay, come on. And rogue. Here we go. So throw bomb. Now I should not be able to throw down here. Apparently I can. Okay. Well, can I throw right next to myself? I can. So why is that not working? Because our range is 1. Oh, wait. How did we do this? Ability. If range is less than or equal to 1, check the melee. So if a current ability is valid target, actor cell, enable targeting mode. Is valid target. So if we're checking through each of the monsters and we're saying, are they valid? And if we go back into our throw bomb, oh, because here, that's right, because we didn't overwrite this. So this, we can take this out because we're going to use the base function instead. So let's save that. Okay, that's why we had an override in there. Okay, great. And we start right off. So I should not be able to target this guy. I can't. I should be, no, but I could target here. Well, if it was a valid thing, I can't. Let's move to here. Now I should be able to target that guy. Whoops, not shuriken. Bomb. Yep, okay. So now that's working. Okay, so let's go. Let's go back and we'll fix our throw bomb. Okay. Where did I had this at 6 before? Save. Okay. Okay, so that is working. Where were we? What script were we working on? Targeting machine. Here we go. Okay. So for each actor in this tree, this we need to do we're targeting the area. So the overlay instantiates. So what we should do then is in the overlay, AoE overlay. Okay, in here, do we have a reference to? We're just picking a cell. Confirm target, emit. Okay, so what we need in here is we need a way to look at the cell and say whether or not it's in range. I'm going to come back to this because I think I'm going to change the targeting overlay. So let's just go where we pass the AoE target back and then validate it there. Okay, so we come down here. We do all this AoE overlay. We add the child. We connect it. So on AoE targeted cell. In here, target cell equals this. Var, here's all the targets. if current state, oh yeah, no, I don't care about that. So here's the target. So we should probably pass in the target here. So let's do we pass in the ability? We do have current ability. Okay. So we can just say if current ability dot is valid target, and we pass in the where are we targeting the machine? So we want to use gameboard dot current actor, comma target cell. Okay. So if it is targeted, we can, let's just do a print valid. And then we can just do an else print invalid. Invalid. Okay. So let's just double check, make sure this works for our AOE and make sure that we're calculating properly. Okay. So explore. Let's see. We have, I think that's there we go. Boom. That says it's valid. Well, it's kind of hard to be valid when that square doesn't exist. Let's use Fireball. Fireball is just a lot easier to deal with, so let's do Fireball. Fireball. Where's Fireball Trez? Here we go. Let's set our range back to 1. Okay, so let's check this. So this is our range of 1. So if we come back here, and we do Explore, we start off, hopefully our wizard will go right off. Well, at least we'll get through all these monsters. Oh, maybe the wizard won't live. Okay, and turn, and turn, and turn. And you know what? Let's heal up our wizard. Make sure he lives. There we go. And then we can also heal up myself. Okay, and then wizard. Let's do fireball. So this should not be valid, but this, anything right here should be. That is saying it's valid. Okay, so let's look at the fire. Oh, I bet you we have an override in there. Fireball. We do. Did we have an override in our word of, what was it? Word of Pain? Is it Word of Pain? What was that one? Word of Pain. Yeah. Okay. Take that out. Yeah, healing word. Yeah, that's probably need that one to be removed as well. Take out all these overrides. That should be good there. Okay. Okay, let's try this one more time. So we have both Word of Pain and, well, Fireball has the change distance, but the other thing does not. So, okay, and turn. Here we go. Word of Pain. So then this do not valid, but these guys are all right next to each other, so that should work. Okay. And then Fireball here, this should be invalid. Okay. But then if I cast like here, invalid. But if I cast it right there, yep. Okay. So that works now. Yeah, we just had all those overrides that we just had to take care of. So let's go back into our Fireball Trez. Okay. Range, go back to 6 on that one. Okay, so that should be good there. I think we are all set on our targeting stuff. Sorry. Okay, that's sorry, my mom was having knee surgery today, and we thought it was this afternoon. Apparently, it's this morning. So, out doing well and asleep. So, yay! Just wanted to double check. check on that. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we've got the range. The range should be all done. That all seems to be working. We might have to go back in. We'll do some audits a little bit later, make sure everything is in the right spot. Now we just have one more, technically two more things to do. We need to update our monsters to make sure that they're using the right thing. But these ones are going to be easy. We're just going to rip out a whole bunch of code and throw in the is valid target stuff. So melee attack. Okay. So in here, basically what we're going to look for is we're going to loop through the players and see if any are in range. We're going to take, we don't need any of this stuff anymore. We can just get rid of all that. Yank that all out. This, what we got here? Grid, get point path, player cell. Okay, so this is how we're calculating distance. We're using the A star. So we're going to use our new one here. So we're just going to do if underscore monster dot is in melee range, is in melee. Do we call it melee range? What do we call that? Actor is in melee range. That's what it was. If monster is in melee range, oh, you know what? Because here, this should be monster. There we go. That's why that wasn't coming up before. Target is the actor, so we're going to do player. There we go. So if the monster is in melee range and the player, we can return true. Then what we need to do, what's this say? Doesn't match the parent. Oh, because I changed this. So let's find our logic step. Let's update that. Monster. Okay, we're going to change that to monster. I think originally I was going to do like traps and everything using the same thing. You know what? No, I'm going to change this again. I'm going to change it to actor because if I remember right, we've kind of kicked it to the curb right now, but the summon familiars for the wizard and for the priest, we're going to use these logics. So that's why I did node 2D instead of monster. So we're just going to kick it over to actor. So that will work because then we can use that same logic for our familiars when we build those out. Again, post early access. Okay, so then if player is in melee range, return it. Hey, we're good. We have, this is a second check right here. Should I replace it in the second check as well? Probably. Yeah, let's just do that again. I don't remember why we had the second check in there, but we'll just do that. There. I mean, easy enough. That's all we need to do for there. You know what? We should also do target equals player. Yeah, might as well just do it. Let's just do a break here. Break. So if we've already figured it out, what it would do without the break, this is going to take whichever the first player that's within melee range, it's going to target them. If we don't have the break, it's going to take the last one. So if it's standing next to all four players, it's only going to target the last one in our array, which is going to be always like the wizard or something. So we'll just add in break in here. And so then it'll take whoever's the first person it finds. And then we just got to go back and do the same thing with the ranged attack. So we come up here. We don't need any of this stuff anymore. Boom, boom, boom. Our misspelling of check and range. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Don't need this. If monster, we need to change this monster to actor. Okay. For monster grid, boom, boom, boom. Monster dot is in ranged range, and then we need to, our target is the player, And then the range is going to be our attack range. There. Okay, and then we're just going to do down here, do the same thing. There we go. And then we'll do the break also here, just so that it doesn't keep looping through and take the last player. Instead, it takes the first player it finds. Which we may want to do. This will be a quality of life thing later on. We may want to like shuffle up how it looks through and how it determines a weight. So maybe we'll do something like I don't know, like an aggro or something like that. But I think this is everything we need to do to get all this stuff working. I don't think I have any other notes for range. I think we can finally cross this card off. Let's just double check, make sure everything works. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so let's see. We're just going to move him up to here, get him out of the way. So we have one bow and arrow guy. Okay, he's got one guy within range. Boom, attacks him. Okay, bow and arrow guy. Yep, he's in range, he's in range. Okay, let's see what we can do to... Okay, out of bounds, index 1. Okay, so who'd we target and what happened? What happened? Orc physics. Have we get an out of bounds index on his move array? Because here we check it. You know what? Maybe we should do this. We should maybe do, instead of equal equals move point size -1, do less than or equal to move point size. Current move point equals the move point size -1. That's the end. Oh, no, we want to do probably greater than. Right? Because this is saying basically if we get to the end of the array, so the move point, if the array size is 5, and we're at move point 5, 5 minus 1 is 4, so it'll be array index 4. Then we want to do this stuff. What this is saying is happening is it's trying to get index 1, but 1 doesn't exist. So then that would be greater than. So maybe that should hopefully fix that. Let's see. These guys are bow and arrow, so let's just move them just to check our bow and arrow stuff, make sure it works right. And then we'll move him away from the side so we don't trigger any more monsters. Doom. Okay, bow and arrow. Whap. They're targeting the rogue. Yep, that makes sense. He is targeting the... They're all targeting the rogue, it looks like. He's going to move up. Yeah, we see like this, we need to change the logic because remember how we did the search cells? We search here, search here, search here, search here to see which one's valid. So it doesn't make sense for the monster to go above him, around him. So we just need to change how we index that. We just need to find, maybe in our breadth first search in that first pass, we look to see, of these 4 squares, which one's closest, and then we choose that one. I think it should be a simple change, but it's a quality of life one versus functionality. Pretty easy to do. Okay, so we got that. We got our shuriken. We can use this and kill them all. Okay, so that all works. It works if you actually roll a hit. I'll throw a bomb at that guy. There we go. Okay. Okay, so that all looks good. Okay. Yeah, I think we're done with ranged. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's close that out. Let's go back to our this. Let's go ahead and hit stop on this. Because we're going to take range checking and we're going to put that in the done column. Now we're going to work on the town shop. I'm going to do one more thing. Let's build equip screen. Okay, we'll put that in the current milestone. Save. There we go. But we're going to start work right now. We're going to start doing this. So let's build the town shop. But I want to get an idea here. Let's look at RPG shop menus. Let's try to get an idea of like how do I want to build a shop menu. You know, this is a little too much. I want something simple. No, maybe like a mobile game style where it's just item cost. Yeah, I think that might be the best. Buy, sell. This is like the inventory must be. There we go. It gives the details of the item. You know what? This might be a better thing because then you can see if it's a weapon, then it'll give you the stats or something like that. That might be a good style to work towards. Pokemon style. Is that what this is? I don't. No, that's not Pokemon. I don't know Pokemon. Unfortunately, I'm a little too old. Let's look at a. Let's see what that looks like. Pokemon shop menu. Oh, that's pretty straightforward, simple. Buy the ball. Are these all roughly the same? Yeah. Here's the inventory. Here's the cost, and this is how much you have. I feel like these are not actual Pokemon menus from the game. Yeah, that looks like a pretty straightforward one. You know, we'll just design it. You know, here's how much money you have. Here's how much the stuff is, and I actually kind of like this description down here on the bottom. Yeah, so let's build out our shop menu that way. That's a good one. Thanks, Lost in Code. Okay, so let's go back over here. 2D. Let's make a new scene. New scene. User interface. We're gonna call this our shop menu. Okay. Okay. So let's see here. We got this. This is already covering everything. That's good. Let's add in a margin container. I always like to add that in just in case. Okay, and then let's see. So if we're going to look at this, let's see. Let's use this one. This one's a little bit clearer example. There we go. So if we look at that, we have our current inventory, our money, here's what we can buy, and then here's our description. So if we look at this styling, who knows, maybe we'll just use this to show the icon. I don't know. But okay, so let's look at that. So let's divide this up. Let's see, we need let's call this 2 boxes here. Then we can do an H box. And then, yeah, so let's do a V box first. So then we can divide top half, bottom half. And then inside the top V box, we'll do an H box. Okay, so let's do this first. Let's add a V box here. How do I spell V box, right? Okay, we'll add 2 of those. Add in this one. We'll add in an H box. And then in that H box, we need 2 more V boxes. 1, 2, okay. And then in this first one, actually this one, thinking about this here, let's do, okay, let's build this out first. So this one's going to be alignment begin. That's going to be fine. Layout, container sizing. Let's see, this is about 1/4. Yeah, so this will be about 3/4, so 75%. So let's do a 3. Let's make sure we have the stretch set on fill. Okay, so that's that VBox. This VBox layout here. This is only going to be a 1. Okay. So that should cover that. This. Oh, did I do this in the right spot? No, I did it in the right spot. Okay. So let's just go down here. We'll add a panel. Oh, let's do a panel container down here. We'll just make it so it fills. Expand. Yeah, that's fine. We're going to call this item DSCRIP description container. Actually, we call it, yeah, that's fine. Item description container. Okay, so that's fine there. Let's go here. This is going to be VBox. This is going to, we need a panel container here. And then this, we'll just make this again, just the full thing. This will be our gold container. Okay, and then let's see what else we need. We need probably a spacer. So let's see, VBox, boom. Just copy that. We'll just call this a spacer. And then what we do down here, current count. Current count container. Contain. Wow, spelling, man. Tell them not an English major. Okay, so we got those are there. Okay. Make sure these are all filling so then we get our spacing all right. That's all fine. That's all fine. Okay. Okay, so this is the right side. This is our actual item container. That's our item container. And then in here, this is going to be, we're going to, oops, not D, Control A. We need a scroll box, scroll container. Oops, that should be up into here. Okay, and then we need a panel container here so that we can scroll through. And then this is going to add, I'm just going to do a label for right now. We'll change this out later, but this is item to buy. Okay, buy. There we go. Okay, so we got that. This VBox container. Oh, you know what I need? So we get the 2 halves here, but we need one more need one more VBox container. So then we can put the item and this in that VBox container. There we go. Then that one. So then this one will be expand. Then this one will also be expand, but we got a third and there we go. That's better. And then we can do here, we can do our separations. We can set that to 0. So then they clash right into each other. Boom, boom. Okay. And then in here, so then we got this, gold. V-Bucks, huh? Yeah. Is that what they use for currency in Fortnite? Again, I don't know. I don't play it. I played the Lego thing for a brief moment, but that was about it. Okay. Gold container, spacer, boom, boom, boom. This needs to fill. Okay, so that's there. This also needs to fill. Expand. There we go. Boom. Okay, that looks so. Okay, we're almost there. So we got the item container that's filled. The scroll container that needs to also expand. Here's our panel container. This I want to expand because this is going to be our background. And then, actually, do I want that to be? Yeah, this is going to be our shop container. Then this, I'm actually going to delete that. I'm going to add a button because I want the button to be what we're going to buy. Item to buy. Okay. And then we need, let's see, that one. This one needs to expand out. There we go. Item to buy. And if we had a couple of these, oops, Control D. Okay. And then these are going to shrink. Horizontal, vertical, shrink, center. Okay. And then this panel container. Oh, we need one more thing. We need another V-Box. Some more V-Bucks. Okay, there we go. So then we have this, and then if we have one more, boom, then we have our scroll container. If we look at this, let's see, we'll call it scenes, shop menu. So we look at this, we have our buttons to buy things. Okay, then we'll have that, this, and our item description. Okay. I feel like we should have, look at this. I mean, you're clearly in a shop, but we need one more thing. I think I want to do one more of these right here. So let's add one more. Add a V-Bucks container. Let's put this back up here. And this is going to be our header. Okay, and then in here, add a panel container. This is going to be the full size. So expand. And let's see, header is, let's make this one like 0.5. Make it smaller so we can put the shop here. This probably won't need to be as big, so let's maybe shrink this down to 0.5 as well. There we go. No, let's leave that at 1, and let's shrink this one down 2.5. There we go. So then we can have our header up here. We can add child mode. Here we'll put a label, and then here we'll do shop. Okay, and then we can add one more thing. We'll add a button, and this will be our leave or quit or exit. There we go. And then we'll put this over on the right. Okay. So here's our shop, exit. Town shop town shop. There we go. Okay, so then we'll have that. Here's our town shop. Here's our exit button. Will kick us back into our menu. And then this is all good here. Actually, you know what? This V-Bucks container, I'm going to redo that just so then we have the spacing. Okay. And then let's go back over here. We have our gold container. So let's add in a label. If we can spell label correctly. Okay. And then we can just do gold like that. And then we can add in another label. Control A, label. You know what? We should probably do these. This is a panel container. Let's put these both in here like that. And then we're going to call this one gold. Current gold. Also, I spelled gold right. There we go. And then that. But we will want to do, let's do this centered. And we're going to make this expand. Whoops. Container sizing, expand, center. There we go. So then we have our gold. We have our items to buy. This right here, we're going to do an override styles. This is going to be an empty instead of a flat. So that's just going to be an empty space. And then this is our current count. So we're going to just take this again, copy that, put this in here, paste. Yeah, I'll just paste it. Where am I? Control V. There we go. And instead of that, we're going to say current count. Yeah, whatever, 99 of them. Okay. Do I want to do current count? Yeah, well, that's fine. Current count's fine. Okay, so we got that, and then let's just do one more thing down here. Add in a, let's do a rich text label. That's fine. Item description. There we go. Boom. So then if we look at this, here's our town. We got our exit button, gold, stuff to buy. Okay, and our item description. Okay, cool. Getting there. We're getting there. Okay, so I think these are going to become a scene. So for right now, I'm just going to leave that alone. Let's attach our shop menu. Just shop.gd, that's fine. Create. Okay. Let's give it the class name, just because. Okay, first thing we need is an export var. What do I want to call it? Shop inventory, shop. Excuse me. Yeah, we'll just call it shop inventory. Oh, that works. And that's going to be of our inventory type. And we'll make it a new one. There we go. Oh, wait, we don't need export. Or do we? Yeah, we'll just make it this way. So then we can populate it. So we'll do a shop inventory. Because we're going to want to load in the items. So then let's see here. We need a function. We need a ready. And on ready, what we need to do is we can steal some stuff over here out of town. So we have like gold value is this. So we can copy this over. We can do gold value.text, and this is current gold. So let's make this a unique name. That's going to be just easier. You could just use the straight change this, but I like to use the onReady variables. So we'll just do that. Okay, so if I do this, we should come up and give me 0. Oh, did I do the wrong? I did. This is current. That's current count. Okay, this needs to be unique name. There we go. Current gold, current count. Okay, so now, oops, wrong button. This button. There we go. 0 gold right now because we haven't got anything. Here's our current count of the items. Okay. Did current, wait, did that say, yeah, it still say 99. Okay, good. Okay, so we got that. We need to connect in our exit button, which is this. Let's relabel this to exit button. And let's put that on our onReady. Copy. And so we do exit button.pressed.connect close shop. Okay. Close shop. We don't need to send anything back, so we can just do a void here. And then we can just do, we can just do a queue free on this, because my idea is basically I'm just going to instantiate it, bring it up over top of the town, and then just get rid of it. Oh, you know what we should do? We should do a signal. So then we can update, like, because the current gold in town, we want to update that. So let's do a shop signal. Signal. Shop closed. Okay. And then we're going to take this signal. We're going to come down here. We're going to emit that. Okay. So then our town can listen to say, hey, the shop's closed. They may have spent some gold, so we need to update our gold in town. And also, if our characters sold items, we don't have sell figured anyway. But that'll at least trigger the town to refresh. So now we've got this. We have a shop scene. Let's go back into town here. Let's go to our 2D town menu. Here's our shop right there. Let's go to town. It's our shop menu. Let's get that in there. Actually, this is going to be a constant. Let's put this up here. Boom. Okay. And then we're going to do shop button, copy, shop button dot pressed, connect, open shop. Oops, open shop. There we go. Okay. And then let's come down here. Function open shop. Wow. Wow. Today I can't type. Okay, so then what we're going to do here is we're going to do var, we're going to do a shop, is a shop menu, oh no, wait, var shop. Did we give, what did we give shop a? We gave it the type, I think, right? Oops, that's not shop, that's shop. Shop, copy, okay. Town, here we go. Shop is of shop type equals shop menu dot instantiate. And then we're going to just do add child shop. Okay. And then what we also need to do is we need to shop closed dot connect. And then here we can just do, we don't have a refresh in here, do we? Rest dot emit. We'll just create one. Refresh UI. Okay. So then, oh, actually, you know what? Instead of refresh UI, we're still going to use that, but let's just do shop closed. C-L-O-S-E-D. Okay, so shop function shop closed. So then what we need to do is we need to do a refresh UI function, and we also need to disconnect that signal. Shop closed dot connect, not dot connect, dot disconnect. Shop closed. Okay. See how OSCD. There we go. And then we need the function of refresh UI. And right now, all we're going to do is refresh our gold value, because that's all we have in the town right now, really. Why didn't that work? Okay, well, gold value dot text equals string game manager dot gold. Okay. Oh, I forgot. Wait. Shop the, oh, because we declared the shop up there. Oh, how do we do? Oh, you know what we can do? We can just, this is easy. We go into the shop menu. We can just do control. And we can just emit itself. And then back here in town, we can do shop : shop. Okay, because then it's going to emit itself, and then we can just close it out. That should be fairly easy. Okay, so if we come in here, we go to shop. Okay, we got shop, and we exit, shop, exit. Okay, so we got that. We just have to make it look better, but okay, so if we go back to our shop menu, let's just do real quick a color rect. Actually, did we do this in town? Yeah, we did. Let's just copy that. This will be easier. So let's just delete this one out. We'll paste it. We'll bring it all the way back up here underneath that. So now that should give us a nice black one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we got the town shop. Now we just have to populate. We got the gold. Now we just have to populate these items. Okay, exit. Where are we at? Oh, ouch, 10 of. Okay, let's see here. Okay, shop. Oh, hey, we need to do one other key thing here. I forgot. in our item data, we don't have a cost thing. We need the cost. So let's just borrow this right here. We're going to do here item cost. And let's just make everything by default 50 gold. That's fine. Okay. So then everything's going to be by default 50 gold. So if we come over here, let's also populate our shop menu with an inventory. I think we have 4 items right now, so let's just do 4. Apprentice 1, wooden mace, quick load, a crude great axe, and a dagger. There we go. Okay, so now we have a default inventory for our shop. So if we come back to our shop menu, let's see, where are we? Oops, 2D. So over here in this container, item container, let's see here. So we want to work on, this is the panel. So this is everything that is going to contain all the items. And that's the scrollable thing. The V-box, the button. Okay, so these are the unique things. So, okay, so let's do item button. Oh, let's call it, no, actually, let's call it shop item button. Okay. And then we're going to create this as a new scene. Create as new scene. Where my save branch is scene. Shop item button. Save. Okay. So then in here, we have a button. We're going to need to, we need to set the icon, which is going to be the icon of our item. I don't think we want to do flat. Press mode. I think most of this is fine. Our layout, we're not going to set. Should probably set the size, but I don't know if I really want to. Let's expand so it always fills. This will be shrink center. That's fine. Okay. Okay, so let's come in here. Let's add in our script. Shop item button script. Okay. Class name, shop item button. Okay. Here we need an export. That's var. It's going to be an item, which is of item data. Okay. Let's see here. Function ready. Oops. Space ready. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to set our icon equal to our item dot icon. We need, let's see, what else do we need in our thing here? So we can set up the icon there. We can set up the text. And then what we need also is we need a cost. Do we want to do this as, trying to think, do we want to build it as a, like a 3-part thing? So we have an icon, the name, and then the price, all one thing. Do we want to use the button icon and then have maybe the price and the title? Let's just do that. Let's do the price and the title in the same thing. So let's go back into here. Icon, we're going to do text. And that's going to equal the icon item dot what we call item name plus, and then we're going to do a colon space, and then we're going to do a plus, and then we're going to do an item dot cost, C-O-S-T, item cost, that's what it is. Okay, item cost, then we're going to do a plus again, and then we're just going to use G for our gold. Oh, right, this needs to be a string, converted to a string. Okay, there we go. So then that should automatically set the icon. Let's just do a sample one. I'm just going to do quickly at tool here, and then so then we can kind of you know what, let's do this. Let's do, actually, set value set colon ready. Can we just do it that way? I can't remember now. So if we set it, then we need to do expected after set. So if we do that, and then can we just call the ready function again? How do we do the, I always forget the way to do setters and functions and the format of it. If I don't have it written down, current XP set value, and then we define the stuff. Okay, so we need it this way. Okay, so let's go back to, there we go. So we're going to set value here, and then here we can just recall the ready function. Probably shouldn't do ready, but either way. Okay, so if we come down here, we do this, and we give this an item. Quick load, dagger. Okay. Even with the @tool, it didn't actually call that. Oh well. Okay, well, let's just go back into our script here. We'll just take this out. Okay, and then so here in our shop menu, the VBox container, where do we want to put the calling the script? Let's put it right here. I think the VBox container is a good place to put it. So let's do this, and we're going to call this the, you know what, let's call it on this, because we already have it's called item container. So let's just call it shop item container. Create. Okay, and then in here we're going to get that on ready here. And then we also need this scene. So shop item menu. I'm going to make that up here. That's a constant. Okay. So function ready. Oops, function ready. Oh, and we're going to need a reference to this. So we're also going to need a reference to the shop itself. Oh, you know what? We should probably actually do, I changed my mind. I think I changed my mind how I want to do this. Nah, no, let's keep doing it the way I'm doing it. Yeah, that's fine. I don't like this. I wanted to actually move it all up to here to call down, but let's just keep going with this today. Okay, so for C child in VBox container C.QFree QUE. Whoops. Is that right? Yeah, QFree. Okay. And then what we can do for item and shop menu dot what we call that, inventory, shop inventory. There we go, shop inventory. And then what we can do is var new button. Oops, new button equals shop item button instantiate. Okay, and then we can do new button dot item. Is that what we called it? What do we call it? Item. That's item container. Oh, here we go. Item. Yep. Item. Item equals item. Okay. So then that, and then we can do add child. We want to do VBox container dot add child, and then we want to add the new button. Okay. And then we also want to do, no, because then we can put the press signal into the other thing. There'll be some other stuff we want to put on here, like for hover and all that stuff, so then we can populate the description. But this alone right now should start populating all that stuff. So let's double check. Icon is item.icon is nil. Why is it nil? Oh wait, we didn't need the setter function, so let's try that again. F8, shop menu. Okay. Invalid access property icon on a base object of nil. Oh, because we didn't give this a default. Well, that's fine. We can just delete that. We can just delete it out. You know, let's take this as a lesson and let's add in some safety. If item, then we can set it. There we go. Oops. There. That should be fine. There's an error calling iterative next VBox container. Why? For C in the VBox container, we're going to queue free everything. There's an error calling iterative next on type VBox container. Oh, duh. I got to tell it to get the children. Okay. Okay, so then this one, so that frees up this. What are we doing here in this resource? Shop inventory. Error calling shop inventory. For item and shop menu, not shop inventory. That's just because that's a resource. Oh, because it's a resource and in inventory, we call that items. That's right. That's right. Inventory.items. There we go. That should do it. There we go. And now we've got our apprentice one, our wooden maze. Okay, so we've got a couple things we need to fix. We need to fix the size of our text. But we've got that working. So again, if we come in here, we go into shop, populates here, shop. There we go. Okay. So let's just quickly dial in our shop menu. Oops, theme. Of course it won't let me do that. Okay. Let's go into our shop button here. Let's override our fonts. Where are we? Fonts. So a quick load. Oh, we don't have any fonts installed. Okay, well, let's just override the size then. And let's have it to 8. Let's see. How's that look? That looks a little bit more readable. Let's do the same thing with, so all this stuff I can just delete out for right now. I'll just delete out these for right now. Okay, so we need, let's do it in here. Let's do it. Oops, nope, not 89. There we go. Current count and this. Where we don't need that. This and this. Font sizes 8. Okay. Come in here, go into our shop. There we go. We'll probably have to shrink down our town size too, but okay. So we got all this. We've got all the items we can buy. Now we just have to make it so we can buy them, which we need one other thing we need in our town. Actually, we're going to put this in game manager. We need I'm going to call it the Adventurers Guild inventory. It's going to be basically where the party keeps everything. So let's do here. We'll do a gold var, call it town inventory. Inventory INVN. Okay, so that'll be our town inventory. Oh, oops, equals inventory dot new. There we go. Okay. So then this will give us the ability. So then when we click the buy button, we can just call town inventory and we can add in the item. So if we come back up here to our button, we can say here, we can do this. If there's an item, we can also do a pressed.connect buy item. And then we'll do a function. This is by, oops, what am I doing? By item. Yeah, void. I wanted, again, my mind says, hey, I want to do a bool here. Well, I want to see if it's valid or not. But you can't do a bool back to a signal. So we don't, that'd be kind of worthless. So what we're going to just do here, we're going to do game manager dot town inventory dot add item, and then we're just going to add item. Okay. So when we do this, now when we click the shop, we should be able to add item. We should probably also do a signal here, signal item purchased. Signal, there we go, item purchased. We'll come back here and add in some checks and stuff after and make sure we have enough gold and stuff like that. But emit, okay, oops, emit. Okay, and then so when we do this in our shop menu container, we also want to do new button dot item purchased item. What would we call that again? Item purchased. Okay, copy. Item purchased dot connect, and then here we're just going to do a what function do we want to do this? Let's call it an update function. That's fine. Update function update. Okay. Oh, do I want to do that here? Yeah, no, we'll do it here. Update, and then we're going to do a signal here. Signal update. I don't want to call it update here. I want to call signal transaction. Here and S ACTI transaction. Okay. And we can just do transaction.emit. Okay. And then we can go back up here to our, where's our shop? Not, yeah, shop menu. Boom. Exit button closed. We have the, where was it, right? Item container right here. We're going to do item container. Oops. I'll put that right here. Item container. So we can do item container dot transaction connect, and we're just going to send that down to our refresh. We'll call it refresh UI. So then we can do that. We'll copy this. We'll do a function here. We'll call it refresh UI void. And then we need to, whoops, do this. Okay. And then we can also do in our button, item purchased emit. We added the item. First, let's do game manager. Oops, let's do it the other way. Game manager dot gold minus equals item dot item cost. Okay. So now we'll buy the item. We'll subtract the cost from our current gold. We'll add it to the town inventory. We'll emit the item purchased, which then will go back to the container menu. It says, hey, an item has been purchased. Update it. This will transaction emit back to our shop menu, which then will update our gold text. So as we do this, we go into shop. If we buy this, boom, 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 boom. And as we buy things, our gold goes down. And if we exit here, we're back. Our town UI has been updated with our new gold values. So, okay, so we've got that. We got purchasing. Oh, and the other thing I want to show you is, if we go in here, we buy all this stuff, boom, 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 boom. If we go into our tree over here, our game manager, and we look at our town inventory, you can see we've bought all these items. They're all in our town inventory. So then when we go to our equip screen, we're going to be able to go, filter out which ones are available for a rogue. The rogue can then equip the weapon or the accessory or whatever. So that's what we're going to be doing with that. So we've got that. That's real basic. We should probably do a current count. Hook up all that stuff. It is 12:10. Oh, what else? What else do I want to do? So we got the shop menu. We can buy stuff. I don't have a way to sell stuff currently. Oops. Shop menu. Here we go. We get gold. Let's get in our item data. Did we put in description item data? We did not. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's add that in. Var item description. And that's going to be a string. And that's just going to equal. We'll just make it equal blank for right now. And then what we can do is let's say, where's our item purchase, item. Just trying to think about how I want to update this description. So when I hover over the item to buy, I want the item description to update. So probably we want to do on hovered, we'll emit it, and then we can update the item description. Okay, so if we have this, here's our item description container. Here's our, we'll call this item description. Okay, and then we'll make that a unique name. Okay, so then what we can do is when we go to this item container, here's our transaction. Let's make another one here, copy. We're going to do item hovered. Oops, hovered. Connect, update, DSCRIPTION. Okay, so then what we can do here, we'll do a function, update description, and then that is going to send in the item. We'll just call it description. DSCRIPTION. And it's a string. And then we can just take this dot text equals the description. Okay. So then when that gets the hovered emit signal, then it should update this item description. So if we come back in here, we need a signal. We need item hovered. So then we also need, is it hovered? HOVER, item hovered. Connect, update, descriptions, send. Oh, let's just call it update description. We'll call it that. Okay. And then I think technically we can, whatever. We'll do it this way. Function update description. And then we're going to do item hovered dot emit. And then we're going to do a item dot description. There we go. Okay. So that's there. That's there. That's that. Item hovered. We should put, this is a string that's going to send. Okay. Okay, so that should send out. Let's find our daggers. Oops. Dagger. Item description. Let's just call it rogues dagger. There we go. Okay, so now if we come into our shop, we have. Okay, so why is that not working? Item hovered. Because I don't want item hovered. I want the button hovered. What is the button? hovered is hovered. But that's a function. Is it just a is hovered? How do we do this? Turns true if the mouse has entered the button and has not left it yet. But I want a signal. I don't know if I don't want a function. Do we have a signal? This is the button, right? Yeah, base button. Because we have like pressed, toggle mode, properties, methods, signals. Button up, button press, toggled. Okay, I guess we don't have a. So we're going to have to check. Yep. Okay, we're going to have to check in the function. Okay, got it. Well, let's just make this in the function physics process. If is hovered, update description. I don't want to do it this way because then it's just going to constantly be emitting that signal. Oh, you know what we can do? We can just kind of make a little local variable to say var hovered colon boolean equals false. Okay. So then if it is hovered equals true. So if hovered and not hovered. You know what? Let's change the name. Currently hovered. Let's call it currently hovered. Okay, not currently hovered. Then we can set currently hovered equals true. Oops. Currently hovered equals true. Update the description. Okay. And then else if not is hovered. Hold on. We just got, I don't want to keep flipping the value of this. So if, how about not? No, let's just do if not is hovered. Currently hovered equals false. So it will constantly set the false, constantly every physics frame. But then if it is hovered and not currently hovered, then we'll set to true. We should only emit the signal once. Let's see. Let's see if this works. Hey, there we go. Okay. Okay, so we got that, we got that, we got the gold working. One last thing to hook up is our current count, and then I'm going to say the town shop for the day is going to be good. We don't have something for selling. I don't know. I don't think that's going to be something I'm going to want in there for the playtest. It's definitely going to be something we're going to add. It's not a feature that's going to be left out, but I'm just trying to get to that playtest state. Okay, so let's go back and let's add in our current. So what we need to do is in our inventory, we need to be able to check for an item and count how many we have. We don't have our item data. Do we have a quantity? I don't think we do currently. Allowed classes, stat modifiers. Oh. Is there a Godot function that counts the number of instances of something in an array? It's a good question. Let's find out. Godot count array instances. Use the built-in count method. Okay, so there's just a count. Is that all there is? Like bullet, items.count bullet. Okay, so we can just do that. That'll be actually pretty easy. Okay, so then let's go back over here to our shop menu. Here's our current count. We already have a unique value for that. And then, so we actually already have, where are we updating our gold? Right here, refresh UI is this. So then we also want to do, we want to do this when it's currently hovered, right? Let's think about this, because if we buy it, let's add it in the hovered state. So we'll omit the current count. Actually, we can probably just do here because it's only going to be a shop. No, we'll omit item hovered. We'll do a string, comma int, because when it's hovered, we will do update description. We'll omit the item hovered description, comma item dot, or actually here we'll just do a count here, and then we can do a var count equals our game manager dot town inventory dot count, or is it items dot count, and then we can send in the item. I don't know if this is going to work, because as we add unique items to the array, I think they get unique names. Well, anyway, let's find out. So we're going to omit this item hovered. That's going to go back up to a shop menu, I believe. Item, nope. Where was it? Item container. Here we go. So here's the item hovered. Update the description. So this, we need to add in a count, and that's an int. By default, that'll be 0 by default. Okay, and then we can do here, we can do current count equals count. Okay. Oh, current count dot text. There we go. Oh, right. Gotta convert it into a string. Okay, so we go shop here. We have 0, 0, 0. But if we buy one, buy a whole bunch of these, like we have one of those, 7, 1. Okay. The only time it's not working is like as soon as we buy one. So we should probably also run this on a purchase. So update transaction omit. So if we go back into our button, here in the button, we have item purchased omit. So if we copy that, and then we also do this, and then we can update that as well. Item hovered omit. Oh, actually, we'll just call update description. There we go. So then this should be as soon as we buy it. Yep, there we go. Okay, so that works. Boom, 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 boom. Probably work better, you know, like on a controller or something like that. But okay, so we got that. We got this. We got this working. We go back to town. Cool. I think we have the basic building blocks that we're looking for. Um, so the only thing we need now is the equip menu, which I was trying to think here. Looking good. Thanks, Lost and Good. Um, getting there. Getting there. I'm really trying to hit where I need to be. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to hit the 65-hour mark the way I want to. Okay, so we got that. We got that. I'm going to do a quip probably next time on Thursday. Oh, hey. Totally forgot that that was your handle um, on this. Okay, so we got that. What else do we? I feel like. So we got this. Now we just need a equip screen, and then we've got kind of a full game. I mean, right now we can go and we can buy things. You know, it's even better. Let's go. You know, let's do a quick run. Let's get some real gold and buy stuff. Oh, we don't have a way to validate. Yeah, that's easy enough to add in. Let's kill these guys. Let's take some money. Just realized though, I don't have the entrance stairs. Now we gotta find the exit. Let's see here. Move down here. We'll hit end turn. Come on, find. Oh no, we got some bad guys here. Thunderstrike. I gotta change the range on that because right now that one's a little too far out. It's supposed to be on self, so you can't attack like that. Let's see. Let's see if we can find the exit. Let's get back to town and spend some of our hard-earned money. Oh man, I can't wait to add sound effects. That's going to be like awesome. Oops. Moved him to the wrong spot. Okay, come on. Come on. Let's find an exit. Probably should not have turned down the... Hey, there's the exit. Perfect. Okay. Move on to the exit. Go back to town. So we have 151 gold. We buy, come in here. We buy this, this, and this. Now we have 1 gold, but we have all these. Awesome. So we're getting there. I think that is going to be good. Let's hit a stop on our Pokemon menu. Good call on that, by the way. Okay, so let's take a look at our project here. You know what? We built the town shop. Done. We got the range done. We got the town shop done. Awesome. We build out the tile library. That's going to be pretty straightforward. We just actually have to build everything. We are at 60.4 hours. So we have 4.5 hours to get this ready for a playtest. Oh, that's going to be a struggle, but I think we can do it. I honestly do. I think we can do it. Let's go back over here. Let's take a look. What did we do today? We've got, I very well might kick the dead characters, the healing surge stuff out a little bit. Save and load from the town. I'm going to move this. Oops. I'm going to move the entire thing. Can I do that? There we go. I'm going to kick that down to the next milestone. Save and load right here. Save and load. It's part of the from the town level. Let's see here. What else we got? I'm going to... The idea of the fodder is everything's going to die. So I think I'm going to take this. I'm going to kick this down to the next milestone. Because I have a feeling this is going to come back in our playtest results that people are going to be like, "Hey, we don't want our players to die." So right off. I want to be able to have a chance to save them. So I feel like that's going to be a result of the playtest. So let's anticipate it and put it in milestone 6. Let's see here. Back to town. We do need to do this. I think I have that on my Kanban. Yeah, reset player status when entering town. Let's also add idle animations, repopulate party, etc. Okay. So then we can fill in anybody that dies. So that'll be in that. You know what? I'm going to move this from bugs to stuff we have to do. Build a disarm trap. I'm gonna kick this down for right now. That's gonna be down here to where are we gonna put that in here? We'll put it under test for players. Because I have a feeling that might be a result coming back too. I want to put more traps in there besides the spike traps that we have now. We have win-loss screens. We don't have this. I'm gonna check this off because that's done. Town shop. We got the shop. Well, we have an ability to buy equipment, so let's just here we go. Look, they can buy it. Now we just need the equip screen and save and load system. That I'm taking that out because that's going to be in the next milestone. And then we just have basic UI. Okay, which we're kind of working on right now. We just did the town shop. We're working on the equip screen. Still have to build the title screen. And this is all stuff there. So, okay. So I think next week we'll do on Thursday. Hopefully, I'm not going to promise anything. I'm hoping, crossing fingers, on Tuesday I'll be able to have a bonus stream. We'll do the equip UI so that we can start putting the equipment on our characters. And then after that, Thursday and Friday next week, I can actually build the in-game UI. We have the initiative pass. We can do the where is it here? That's the town screen. Hold on. Here we go. Yeah. So let's go to our. There we go. We got. I don't know if this is going to come across. Pencil and pen and all that fun stuff. Let's see here. Maybe not, but we got initiative across the top screen. We got the character units over here, combat logs, and then I think for the time being, instead of trying to get the pop up next to the character, I'm probably just going to put it over here on the right side of the screen. But I've got a basic UI layout, what I'm going to work towards. So hopefully next Thursday and Friday, there'll be 4 hours there. They'll be there. We'll probably hit right at like 65, 66 hours. We will hit the playtest ready on itch. So fingers crossed. I have it's gonna be one of those things where I'm constantly gonna be saying it's not ready, but fingers crossed. What's the end of next week? Next week is the 7th is Friday next week. So I think what we might do is I'm gonna plan. I'm not gonna guarantee on the 7th. I'm gonna try to get things done. Hopefully, if we have a bonus stream on Tuesday, we can get the equip UI working, and then we can bang out the rest of the UI on Thursday and Friday next week. We should be pretty much ready, but I think what I'm probably going to do is still delay it just a little bit more so then we can build out the tiles and get all the tiles ready and then get it all prepared on the, what day is that? That is on the 13th, August 13th. Get all that stuff prepared, just try to do some general cleanup, get things ready for people to play a playtest. It's not going to be perfect. There's going to be bugs. There's going to be a whole bunch of oddities, but just some real basic, we need to explain how things work. We need a little quick primer that pops up an overlay saying this is how you move. This is how just a real quick how to play this, and setting up the itch page. So if all goes according to plan, I think Thursday the 13th will clean up those last little quick touches, release it on itch for people to start playing, and then hopefully on Friday the 14th, I'll be going over some feedback that I've gotten from the playtest so far. and then we can figure out, what features we need to tweak, what features we need to implement still, and that type of stuff. So crossing my fingers, we're looking at hopefully the 13th for releasing a playtest on Itch. I'm also shooting for that same week to release my Castlevania playtest 3. So we're going to see how things go. But hopefully, cross some fingers. But thanks everybody for joining me today. Look forward, like I say, keep an eye out. If you're not subscribed, subscribe down below. And keep an eye out, hopefully Tuesday afternoon, to probably be noon my time. So that would be what, 4 p.m. UTC. They'll do a bonus stream if I'm able to, and we'll get the equip screen done. And then, if not, we'll definitely be doing it on Thursday, the 6th, at 10 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. UTC time. We'll be streaming. So come on back and join in again. And thanks again, Banger, for your suggestions for the layout of the menu and everything. Great having you in stream, but we'll catch everybody later. So have a good evening, good night, whatever it is.